starts at the physical layer, and you keep those same practices as you move up the stack through your compute, through your storage, through your applications, your hypervisor, all that redundancy. Those same practices are built on the framework of having good physical diversity.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the Incident Report presented by Quest Technology Management. I'm Paul Burke, Director of Technology Communications. Every week, I'm joined by VP of Sales and Partnerships, Adam Burke. The Incident Report brings you conversations with thought leaders, business innovators, and channel mavericks to help you stay productive and agile in a changing technology landscape. Hi, this is Paul from the future. I just wanted to pop in and remind you that there's a special short webinar, May 11th, featuring 6clicks, Quest, and the City of Livermore, solving GRC tech procurement for state and local government. The event is free to attend and an invaluable conversation about the complexities and challenges that U.S., state, and local government departments face, not only in procurement and policy, but in navigating the complex regulatory environments. Link to register for this free event is in the description. Now, back to your regularly scheduled Incident Report. Welcome back to the Incident Report. I'm your host, Paul Burke. I should say I'm one of the two hosts. Across from me, Adam Burke, sitting over there. Adam, how you doing?
Good, Paul. Excited to be here. Always excited to join you on the Incident Report and jump into today. Ready to get going.
Episode 15. We've been doing this, Adam, for 3 months.
3 whole months, also known in the business where they pay for play as a quarter. We've been doing this for a full quarter, which is fantastic.
If this is your first episode, what you should know about the Incident Report is we're here to share. Look, there is a lot of data out there. There's a lot of information, and we're sifting through. We're looking for articles and information we think you need to know. Up first, we want to talk about a story that comes out of Cyber Scoop, how the French fiber optic cable attacks accentuate critical infrastructure vulnerabilities. This is a valuable story to talk about because infrastructure, I don't think, Adam, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it gets the amount of attention it deserves because, in lack of a better term, not a sexy topic.
Yeah, and it's kind of taken for granted that it's just going to be there. I mean, everyone hears about the backhoe fade and like cutting off a leg of the internet that's connecting a corporate location or, diversity of paths in and out. This cable system that was basically intentionally cut knocked off most of France from the internet for a significant amount of time. It's physical, right? You and I talk about this all the time around digital assets, around software, around zeros and ones. This is the actual fiber optic cable that lights the path for that software to even exist. So securing the physical layer, that first level of infrastructure, critically important. We get involved in this type of thing at Quest oftentimes when we're helping organizations build data centers, build out in a third-party data center. One of the things you always hear as we're walking through providing a data center tour in Northern California is, tell me about your diverse path out of the site. Tell me about your vault. Tell me about your facilities. What do you have as far as getting data offsite and getting it out? This is one of those times where, they knocked out an entire country for a while, and things going on geopolitically overseas right now. Getting knocked off the internet, having everybody down in your country at one time, that could, I don't know how long the United States could go. We know that in the United States, you're basically 9 meals away from chaos from a food stability standpoint, and within a 9-meal period of time, you can run out of food and have chaos. I don't know how long our population would go without having access to the internet on a country scale. I don't want to find out, but the French found out that a significant amount of their physical infrastructure or their internet was completely knocked offline due to a physical breach, which is new. It's something different.
The link to the Cyber Scoop article is in the description, and there's a picture that shows a neatly trimmed fiber optic cable that was dug up. They sliced it, and that took out France. Adam, are we like literally a sharp pair of scissors away from losing internet connection?
They cut both lines, right? So that was a loop. They cut both sides. It was a little bit more of a coordinated attack. You got to know where this infrastructure is. But most of the folks who built out during the last .com in 2000 and the boom and bust of that cycle, people built out physical infrastructure along utility lines. They built it out along railroad lines. You had a bunch of people in the oil industry put it along gas pipelines. They would lay fiber along those types of existing infrastructure. So when people are digging up the ground or laying aerial fiber, people wanted access to the internet, and a lot of people built out different installations around to kind of support the fiber optic network of the United States. And you got the cables run across the Pacific and across the Atlantic. Those points of entry are pretty secure, but there are places in Ashburn, there are places in Los Angeles and in San Francisco that if those physical hubs go down, a lot of the internet in the United States is gone. There are organizations that would want to target those physical assets. And this is a case in point. They get dug up and targeted by specific groups that can really upset a country or a specific region for sure.
Are you watching this season, Better Call Saul?
I am not. I fell off the Better Call Saul bandwagon after his. That one was a little weird, and I kind of stopped following along with it.
The reason I bring it up, because there is a underground bunker, I won't say anything else, in the episode I just watched. And obviously, they didn't want the government to know about it. And these fiber lines, when people are laying fiber, are these kind of kept secure and secretive where they're at? Do only a handful of people know, or is it pretty easily, readily available knowledge?
It's pretty readily available. There's actually organizations that publish it and do location services. So there are tools, and this is the double-edged sword of information, right? You want to be able to let your clients know exactly what fiber and carriers they have available to them at their addresses, right? So they have these 50 sites. How do I get the best deal on carrier services? Let me show you this cool application that maps out all the main fiber runs in your area and tells you exactly where they are. Oh, great. That's really cool. It's very helpful. Also, a little bit dangerous if you're a bad actor. You basically have a map of all the fiber in the ground. Now, it's not all the fiber. There's dark fiber, and there are private lines, and there's things that are only available, that are provided by the municipality or the power company or things like that that aren't necessarily published. But yeah, if you want to know where all the telecommunication vaults are in a city, it's not hard to find out.
Wow, I had no idea.
Well, as long as we're going pop culture, I mean, the last Die Hard, I think we've talked about this before. I'm a huge Die Hard fan. And that one was a fire sale scenario where they basically took down the internet for the United States, and it talked about data centers. It talked about one of the ways they found out where the bad guys were going was they traced the activity and they correlated it with data center being generated from servers. So geeks like us who know this kind of stuff is like, that's kind of a cool plot twist. I don't know if it would actually worked, but it was a cool storyline they used. Hey, we're going to find out what the bad guys are going to be doing based on heat signatures of how much compute's being utilized in some random Social Security database, which is cool, but you tie that all to the physical infrastructure that's out there, and what happened in France, it is vulnerable. So something we help organizations do that I think is good is from a disaster recovery standpoint, that physical asset of your connectivity and how those carriers are coming in on separate or the same facilities. When I say the same facilities, I mean you could have diverse carriers coming in on the same fiber or the same conduit into your building. So if you have a backhoe or someone's digging in your area and you don't have diverse paths or diverse facilities, when I say facilities, separate physical facilities leaving your physical premise, you can get cut off. Right? So that diversity of path out, it could be wireless, it could be alternate path in, it could be just building in redundant paths. We're a data center operator, so we know, hey, it's very important that you have as many diverse paths out and in for your customers as possible and as redundant as possible. And that's something we strongly discuss when we're doing our disaster recovery conversations and our business continuity conversations. It starts at the physical layer, and kind of you keep those same practices as you move up the stack through your compute, through your storage, through your applications, your hypervisor, all that redundancy. Those same practices are built on the framework of having good physical diversity.
Every episode of the Incident Report, Adam, we learn a little bit more about your vast knowledge and your deep love of Die Hard.
It is deep. It is deep. I don't know if it was because it was the first rated R movie that Dad let us watch back when we were kids. Nakatomi Towers. It was a magical time in an 8-year-old's life.
Adam, the second story we need to talk about is Channel E2E, or the website is channele2e.com, and it's 4 ways intelligent alerting can transform your MSP business.
Yeah, I love this article because in the second sentence they use the word cacophony. And anyone that can layer the word cacophony in an article, I think deserves at least a 5-minute read of your time. I appreciated that. I appreciated that being thrown in there within the first sentence.
There is an interesting statistic in the article that states 82% of incoming alerts are just noise and not actionable.
Yeah, that's a huge number. Approximately 8 out of every 10 alerts that come in you can't do anything with them. So what benefit is actually bringing to your business? At Quest, we built out a practice. We've been monitoring and alerting systems since 2000, and we have a division of our company. I was just on a kickoff call with a new client today, and I think this is a fantastic article because it's short, it's to the point, and it's really about getting the information you need and reducing all the extra stuff that isn't necessarily helping you make a decision around either from a security standpoint or an operational standpoint. And we have a division that all they do is update and make moves and changes to tune different alerts from the thousands and thousands of different systems we see every day. And when you can automate that reduction in alerts and kind of tiering those out so you really know what's important, it comes to the top of your stack very quickly. It helps you manage diverse systems because you can't see everything all the time unless you know what you're looking for, and you can help with that alert management. So it's a cool article, quick read, but really helps kind of evangelize the whole idea of how you monitor and update your alerts.
So it sounds like tuning takes time, but ultimately you're saving a great deal of your time and sanity by tuning alerts. Finally, we have one more article, and this is about Avaya and Microsoft Azure. Avaya partners with Microsoft to deliver one cloud solutions on Microsoft Azure. This article comes from channelfutures.com. Again, link in the description. The new partnership builds on Avaya's long-standing relationship with Microsoft. An expanding partnership between Avaya and Microsoft promises to increase organizational productivity and customer engagement. It pairs the Avaya One Cloud Collaboration Services portfolio with Microsoft Azure. Avaya says its customers will be able to deploy a hybrid public or private cloud environment. The partnership builds on the success of Avaya One Cloud Contact Center as a Service, that is a mouthful, also known as CCAAS, much easier to say, delivered on Azure. David Austin is Senior Vice President, Strategy and Alliances at Avaya. Our strategic partnership with Microsoft is an important milestone in our continued transformation to a cloud business model, Austin said. The global scale of Microsoft helps ensure that our joint customers rapidly deploy Avaya One Cloud solutions in any cloud environment of their choice with speed, agility, and cost competitiveness. This represents a tremendous opportunity for customers to accelerate their journey to the cloud and a tremendous opportunity to Avaya to expand our go-to-market reach through the co-selling efforts we have identified with our trusted partner.
So Avaya is a juggernaut in the collaboration space, and they got CCaaS, right? So contact center as a service. They have some pretty powerful tools. Some of the largest contact centers and automation platforms out there are on the Avaya platform, and they're trying to figure out how to stick with the competitive landscape out there of everyone moving to cloud systems, right? So back up 15 years, but people have 15, 20 years, people have on-premise PBX, on-premise phone systems. They're hosting their own servers on site. We did a lot of this with Cisco. We've incorporated Avaya into our solution offerings and are building out on-premise things 15, 20 years ago. Now, a lot of people, I'm always surprised by how much of the market still isn't on hosted voice, but the trend is moving there. So I think there's almost 80 to 70 or 80% of the market is still not on hosted voice.
Why do you think 30% of the market remains not on hosted voice?
They just haven't made the transition yet. So they have a system that works. Everyone uses their phone every day. A lot of people are leveraging soft phones and their cell phones and pushing calls and communicating in different ways. But the trend is known and moving. And the Avaya platform, it's pretty interesting because they're making it easy for people to stick with what they've already invested in, but migrate it to a cloud of their choosing. There's a great bumper sticker that says it's a sad face and it's like a little cloud, and it's like the cloud's just someone else's computer. And it really is. The cloud is literally just someone else's computer. You used to have servers in your server room, then you had servers in your data center. Now you have servers in someone else's data center that you don't own. Azure is one of the largest hyperscalers that has a ton of capability and a ton of servers out in the cloud. They got all sorts of other kind of cool ways to do things, but at the end of the day, they're a server platform that's on the Microsoft stack. Microsoft controls a significant amount of the industry from an operating system and productivity suite standpoint. They've invested heavily in Teams. A lot of people are moving their organizations to Teams, but you still have to have that contact center, that smart integrated platform that helps get the right call to the right customer service representative or puts you in a queue. I mean, everyone hates being on hold, so how do you manage that customer experience? Avaya is a leader in that, right? They have amazing call center capabilities. So really what they're doing is they're taking their proprietary software and they've created a sell with strategy with one of the largest gorillas in the technology market. How do you, it's a smart move, right? So they partnered up with, I believe, RingCentral for their UCaaS offering. So they made it easy for people with Avaya on-premise to move to unified communications with RingCentral. And now they also, RingCentral is a leader in the hosted space, right? They're one of the largest people out there in the hosted space. So Avaya struck that partnership. And now they're saying, hey, our CCaaS application, our call center application, you can have that in a hybrid state, like so you can host your servers locally at your point of business or wherever your call center is, or you can move that into the Azure cloud and have your call flow through the Microsoft world. And oh, by the way, all the thousands upon thousands of Microsoft partners out there now have the ability to sell with you. So you're tapping into that last sentence you read, sell with our partner. That's $1 billion thought, because now you're tapping into all the folks like Quest and like others who are MSPs or CSPs or new customer experience evangelists who sell millions of dollars with a Microsoft. Hey, would you like some fries with that? Here's your Avaya CCaaS, right? So they're making moves there and they're partnering and they're trying to figure out how do we get our proprietary software to the market, and partnering up with Microsoft is not a bad path to do that.
Adam, I love the idea of having $1 billion thought. They're
out there. You know, the $1 billion thoughts, it's not the thoughts. The $1 billion thoughts are easy. It's the $1 billion folks who can execute. Those are the $1 billion thoughts are a dime a dozen. Those aren't that important. It's the people who can actually put them together and get stuff done.
Good point. That brings us to the end of the episode. Adam, any exciting plans this week? Anything you're watching? Anything you think people should watch?
I'm going to nerd out a little bit here. I was huge into Halo when I was a college lad. Loved the LAN parties with the multiple Xboxes on the original Halo. And I know a lot of people don't like it, but I'm really liking the Halo series. I'm enjoying it. I'm digging Master Chief, man. I'm liking it.
Hey, there you go. Join Adam on his island.
No one else likes it. I probably shouldn't say that publicly, but it's probably just because there were a lot of times where I was supposed to be writing essays and doing whatever an econ major is supposed to be doing at Davis, but I played a lot of Halo, so it was tugging at the old heartstrings.
Nice. And like I mentioned, I'm into Better Call Saul right now, so that's my recommendation. A little Halo, a little Better Call Saul. We'll see you next week. Until then, Adam, we'll see you next week. And Adam and everybody listening, have a great week.
Thanks, Paul. Have a good week, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening. The Incident Report is brought to you by Quest Technology Management. With over 40 years of experience, Quest is a leading technology integrator working seamlessly with your staff and systems to achieve your IT goals. Learn more about everything they do at questsys.com. And if you have questions or suggestions for the podcast, you can always email Adam and myself at theincidentreport@questsys.com. We hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next time.